Alright, for real this time. Welcome to MyStreet, 5 years later, with your host, Jacob Butter, talking over the royalty-free ambient music that Restream provides, as I know somebody asked before where this music comes from. Welcome everyone. Women, lords and ladies, in fact. In the last episode of MyStreet 5 years later, we had the unfortunate time of witnessing our very own Aaron Lycan, the Ultima Werewolf, meet his untimely demise. What is to become of this? What consequences will the world suffer as a result, and the characters as well? What is to become of all of them? What is to become of all those possessed? What is Aphmau's future? All questions that plagued the audience of MyStreet 5 years ago. For about 2 days, then this came out, so let's get on with it. Without further distraction, on with the reaction. I can't hear anything. Like, what? What is this? Did my sound malfunction? Like, again? Like, the input as well? I mean, it shouldn't do that. Did you guys hear what's being said? Yeah, you can hear, but I can't now. Yeah, you have no idea like how off-putting this particular scene is with like the silence. It's like something out of like an independent film, like a low-budget horror film or something, where like it's all about like the stuff that you can't actually hear. It's all like infrasound or something. Good lord. Okay. Let me just try changing to that, see what happens.
Looks like you're...
Yeah, nope, still nothing. I want to take the headphones off because I think it's going to get echo, but I don't know what else to do at this point. Ah, yeah. See, there we go. It's Da Goddess. You've heard of Aiden Da Best, now you hear of Irene Da Goddess. Anyway, let me just put this back to normal. I will apologize for any and all future echo that occurs from this point onwards, but yeah. Have I checked my output settings? I literally just changed it because I had to take my headphones off.
Wake.
Where am I?
Yeah, no, still nothing. At all. Like, I just restarted my computer to update the sound settings, and now this happens. Like, the music that was just going on was working perfectly fine. See if I remove the source, if that does anything.
Don't worry.
Nope. Right, let's see if that does anything. Just detecting problems, apparently. It says turning sound audio enhancements, but I just had to turn on to make the microphone work. This has never been an issue before this point. Let's try with the headphones then instead. Okay, let me see. Right, I just turned it on. What? Add another device and screen share it that way, like a phone or something. Yeah, no, I've tried it before. Restream on a phone doesn't work the same way.
You're safe here.
And even if it did, that would still require like headphones and all that manipulation and everything going on. By the way, the reason why Brenjitsu TV left the live stream is because he got embarrassed when he saw me. What? Wait, what? Okay. I mean, I acknowledged his series because I know what he was doing, but yeah, I mean, it's not like I was staring right at his soul or anything. But yeah, hopefully it comes back today once I've actually got all of this, sorted, because this is ridiculous at this point. Like I'm running out of ideas. Maybe if I just put all this stuff back in again. Okay, time to come back to the pig. Yeah, that's fine. I haven't turned this thing on yet, that's why.
Nothing here will hurt you.
Who are you?
An old friend. You owe.
All right, let's do one more thing instead. Just open up again. Oh, and that miraculously works. Okay. Well, that's saved me ages, but fine, I guess. Without any more further distraction, that completely ruined my epic opening. But whatever, we'll carry on with the reaction. You know what? As a consolation, I've gone back to the classic salted caramel style popcorn that I started these streams off with. So if anything, it came full circle, minus the issues I had back then, most of the stuff now. But anyway. know, it's going to sound weird, but now that I've gone through that, I almost prefer the silent version. Like maybe like a little bit of like ambient sound effects with the fire and stuff. But really, that was all. Yeah, that's right, Aaron. Catch a breath, even though you're not in a plane where you'd have air. Yeah, quiet some music or background. So yeah, I think it's about to fade out now because I'm about to talk. That's usually what happens. Quieter. Yeah.
Where am I?
Don't worry. You're safe here. Nothing here will hurt you.
I wouldn't trust someone who said that to me right after I'd just been attacked by somebody who, again, turned out to be evil.
Who are you?
An old friend. You always manage to get yourself into trouble every once in a while.
Am I?
Well, yes. And no. That girl...
I love that. This is just like that one scene in Deathly Hallows when Dumbledore shows up in the middle of like the limbo inside Harry's head.
really hurt you. In more ways than one. I'm guessing death was the easy part.
Well, I mean, yes, because like, you know, falling from a great height like that, you know, if it's the landing that killed him, then yes, death was indeed the easy part because it happened in an instant.
Pierced your heart, didn't they?
Stab through the heart, and Af's to blame. Ian gives werewolves a bad name.
That all happened, didn't it? I fell. She had a knife and forced me to that ledge.
Aaron, no one's forgotten last episode. Afmal made very sure of that. Anyway, have we discussed about PGA Season 3? Yes, that has been floating around, basically. Like, we have had a couple of ideas and discussions about what to do for it. Either something else like a role play or something, or actually further going into like the survival, like, you know, region style series that we've been doing up to this point. I don't know. Either way, I'm excited for both. PGA is Pixel 1 Generation's adventure. It's the thing like Pixel 1 Reforged Adventure is Season 2 of Pixel 1 Generation's adventure. They go after each other. That's why the 100 episode thing today was on episode 40, because episode 60 of PGA as a thing. Yeah, that's why.
I should have turned her. I should have done what he said.
You doubt yourself.
Of course I do. I failed. I wouldn't have done anything to her. I froze.
You couldn't stand anyone finding out what you really are.
I mean, he stopped it for like 30 years. Give the man credit. This does go into like the fight, flight, or freeze reaction, which to some extent you really can't control, like which one you actually have out of all of those, and it's different for different people.
And when the person you love the most found out,
Everything she said, it was true. All my life I've been alone.
I mean, if anything, for Ian, it would have been more cruel to reveal who he was right there and then for Afmal, but yeah. I guess he was saving the betrayal of finding out who Aaron was until Blaze, but you know.
I've had to be. I was a danger to everyone. A monster.
you will never be able to open yourself up if you're scared of what you are.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, I suppose that kind of makes sense. He did open up to an extent, but not about this, so I guess that counts. Yeah. Will I be in Minecraft Season 2 once it gets started? Like last time, I have my own perspective on the same server. So yeah, you probably won't see me near Aiden for quite some time because, you know, obviously, you know, Mimi and I are off doing our own thing.
Aaron, You need to accept who you are.
I was raised to be alone.
It's a shame.
Yeah, but you haven't been alone for decades, Aaron.
You aren't the man I remember.
Huh?
Well, I mean, again, also no, because we're all the products of our environments, as Monet has actually correctly said a few times on this stream. And clearly, Aaron's environment this time round was very different to the man you remember. I feel like that should be painfully obvious for you, mysterious for the audience, but, in hindsight,
The Aaron I remember wouldn't allow a minor setback like this one to deter him. Even when everything was lost, he pressed on.
A minor setback such as death. Do I need to remind you what happened to the Aaron you remember? And how much that set him back? Anyway. And yes, the man you remember also lost his entire family. Yes, that's true. And in fact, he actually did end up being alone as a result of that too. Both Aarons have ended up being alone as a result of their families. One because they died, one because they didn't, fittingly. But yeah.
A minor setback? The woman I love is in danger and you call it a minor setback?
And also, you're dead.
Exactly. She's in danger. Being near death almost made you forget.
Wait, being near death? Do you mean to say that a fall from that height didn't immediately shatter his internal organs? Is that what I'm getting here?
There are people who are in danger, Aaron. People you care deeply about. Are you just going to give up and forget them?
I mean, you pulled him into a random dimensional plane, so he can't exactly do anything right now.
Maybe you should. After all, the woman you loved caused this.
No! She would never do this! It was never her fault! I love her!
I do like the psychological tactic that Irene is pulling here, actually. Like, of course, she needs to get him to realize what's important rather than just being told about it.
I will never give up on her.
That's actually
Do
more
anything
powerful
to keep
than
her safe.
the alternative.
You always have. Do you
Oh my word! It's a face we don't recognize yet! What a reveal!
want to go back?
Of course I do! Half-Mal, Lucinda, Zane, Garth, Kim. I may not have told them everything about me.
Or virtually anything.
But they care about me. They're the closest thing to family that I have.
I mean, that's sad but true. I mean, yeah, honestly, from Aaron's perspective, MyStreet is a found family story, not even just a found relationship one.
Will not let him have them.
There's the man I knew. Alright then, I'll help you.
Huh?
But you mean you weren't planning to help him before? Why would you bring him here? What is... Irene, what is your plan? Anyway. Let me just look at the chat. Wait. The werewolves used to casual jump out of the second and third floors of buildings and just kept running. There's a difference between the second and third floors of buildings and the height that cliff was at before, which actually you'll see in this episode, so don't worry too much. Also, we already have a significant way through this episode. Like, I'm surprised. It's 17 minutes long, but it seems like, I know, it feels like it's shorter for some reason. Anyway, let me just, Garth is still fine. Well, I mean, Garth got frozen last time that Aaron saw him, and also he's clearly under the mercy of Lucinda, who is in turn under the mercy of Ian. So he's not exactly off the hook, is he? Like, just because he physically hasn't suffered that much damage does not mean that he's not also in danger. Anyway, how in the world didn't Aaron notice that she looks like an Afmal with the hair? Because that's not what Afmal's hair looks like to him. especially the front part. Like, I don't imagine that Atmal's got that unique a hairstyle in universe. So it's an easy thing to warp, especially again if you can't see the distinguishing factors of a person's face. Why am I suddenly defending Emerald's secret? Like, that was like a complete turn from before. What kind of description is that? Bibble? That was just me getting frustrated that I had to restart the stream to begin with. That was why I put Bibble there. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, and also my said Av's current hairs in that style, yes, or any hair of hers before. And our brain's starting to fix things and stuff, so things we don't recognize or can't believe plausible, we just won't perceive. What, like, is that why Irene's face is distorted? I mean, it could be. I don't know.
If you are truly determined, I can help you escape death. But from there, the rest is up to you.
Ha, good one. You'll be back in a year.
Am I dead?
Are you truly determined to save?
Wait, you asked that before. You said, am I? Yes and no was the answer. Why do you have to ask it again?
To save all of your friends.
Yes! I will never give up.
Then this is my debt repaid. Go, fight for them.
You never told me who you were.
Just an angel. Now go, before I change my mind.
Before you change your mind. You're not going to change your mind! Stop toying with the man. He's got enough on his plate already. Like, come on. Also, what debt? I imagine a debt from the sacrifice from before, I think. Like the actual one from Diaries, I imagine. Anyway, from what I have been told, in your dreams you can't see faces. It's not that you can't see faces, usually. It's the fact that you see faces of people that you've seen before. And your body can't, you can't really, your mind can't concoct like new facial features. It's always somebody else's. That's what it is, really. I actually asked this question one time when I was in sixth form, and we had an assembly from somebody who has face blindness. So she literally cannot recognize anyone's faces, so she focuses on minor details and stuff later. So I actually asked her, well, because we can't see that stuff in people's dreams, what do you see? And she actually said, oh, well, I guess. Well, she said, I've never been asked that before, so I had to think for a bit. But it was like, I think she sees like a neutral face or something, like with like bland features of nothing of any sort of distinguishing note. So there you go. Anyway. Also, I'm an angel. Your name is Baby Satan. Don't fool us. Look how tall that cliff is. Look, that is way more than a third floor of a building. No way. Instant death. Bones shattered, organs torn apart, blood congealed everywhere. There he is. Oh, and also, I guess, knife through the heart. That also is something.
Was that a dream? I can't move.
Again, I don't blame you. I love this. I love the Irene logic here. I'm going to send you back like an instant before you died, just so you're suffering from what would have actually given a quick release beforehand. Also, your head's fine. Anyway, I'm just saying that a normal human would have issues with the third floor of a building. Yes, and a werewolf would have issues with a giant cliff. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's lucky that he's lucky that he's not like losing blood now from there, because sometimes if you if you have an open wound like that, blood can actually gush out. The knife could have been keeping him alive. That was a lucky guess from him. Especially because apparently it was like suffering. Yeah, see? I was thinking the same thing. I mean, Irene literally said he was stabbed through the heart. So like every heartbeat was like going like 40 times per minute. Anyway. After first, I couldn't even watch this part without covering my eyes. Now I can watch it. See, that's why I'm here, to make light of the dire situation that we were all subjected to 5 years ago. That's how to do it. Honestly, that's one way to get through a lot of films that you find either like terrifying, traumatizing, scary, any form like that. Just crack a bunch of jokes about it. The more that you can actually like remove yourself from it, the easier it is not to have an emotional breakdown. That's my top tip for the day. I literally made that joke before. I said like stab through the heart and Ian's to blame, darling. Ian gives werewolves a bad name. Anyway, I literally painted this scene, have speed painted it, to be frank. Well, okay, in that case, it's more exposure therapy than anything else, I think. Yeah, probably. And yeah, you really changed. You made a change for yourself, in fact. That's the best kind of change, I think. Well, usually, anyway.
Need to get up. It hurts.
You know what also probably is going to hurt you right now, Aaron? Talking. You might have punctured lungs. Save the air that you have.
Can't die here.
What is wrong with you, Aaron?
I just want to see her.
You're sneaking out to see that girl? You barely know her.
Her name is Aphmau.
I don't care what her name is. She's not important.
I love her.
I feel like the reason Derek doesn't want to hear Aphmau's name is because he doesn't want to give her any give her any importance. You know she's not important, but names give things power. So again, this weirdly enough makes sense. I feel like this is the part where Jason really started taking over, I'm guessing, because this feels very different to the rest of the season. Dude, that's so cool. I forgot to take a test before midnight yesterday. Me fell asleep. Oh dear. Well, you saw my oopsie from today from my submission. Technically speaking, I got it in on the deadline. But that's not what the electronic system is going to say. But anyway.
You don't know what love is.
But
yeah, well, guess what? I want to know what love is. I want App to show me. Josh's mind right now. Aaron is bleeding out in the snow, and somehow he survived a stab through the heart. And is also having a very quick flashback to this moment here. It kind of reminds me a little bit of there's an episode of Sherlock where Sherlock gets shot. He doesn't die. Spoiler alert. It's not the last episode. But he actually but he goes through his like in a split second, because he has to like think really quickly about like, you know, all the different things, like, oh yeah, what kind of gun shot him, like what was behind him, because the mirror didn't shatter, so the bullet's still inside him. That's how I know about the whole thing about like the wounds, like having like blood loss kill you or something. I decide where to fall forwards or backwards, deal with the shock, deal with the pain, all of that in this episode. And no, well, I mean, you know what? I'm not going to say if he dies the last episode or not. I meant to say that it wasn't the last episode, therefore he couldn't die from that gunshot. That's what I mean. Anyway, yeah, so all of that, and the way that he did that was actually manifesting his loved ones, his family members, and everyone to to talk to him and also to calm him down, get him out of the shock, or deal with how to actually, give him that extra push to force him through and to keep his mind working. And it all depended, basically. That's what this scene reminds me of a little bit, but less in that sense of like, oh, this is like immediately tied into your mindset. More so, this is a flashback to keep you motivated. Same goal, ultimately, because I guess Aaron's not going to die from shock, blood loss, or pain at this point, because Irene has preserved him before any of that happens, which might mean that he's in a perpetual state of suffering at the moment, because he's like right before he would otherwise die. But you know what? We're not here to think about the dire consequences of a wish that really should have gone further.
Enough, Aaron! Talk back to me one more time, and I'll make sure you finish this high school year back at the military academy. We had an agreement. I'd let you go to public school under the condition that you stay out of any relationships other than acquaintances.
See, I wonder this, actually. First of all, does he not? I guess the military academy might have been werewolf exclusive, because otherwise the same issue would have occurred. Also, did Aaron not make any friends in military academy? Like, especially considering that, military academy stems from, the military, I would imagine that the idea of camaraderie and teamwork would be crucial in that environment, not just, righteousness and discipline, which is what Derek would have enforced. So, if anything, that would have almost backfired us. I don't really know anymore. How would I compare this episode to this last in terms of emotion? Well, this episode's all about the emotion, and especially the emotional aftermath that the fan base was actually dealing with at the time of that release. So in a way, it came out of that at just the right point, actually. Well, maybe the right point would have been the day earlier, but either way, it was a crucial moment. Speaking of actually people having a crucial moment, I've completely forgot to mention something to people. Let me just do a thing. So yeah, in terms of emotions, this episode is better than the last one, unless that emotion, of course, is shock, which previous episode, that one definitely trumps it. So maybe that was also because I wasn't shocked by Irene's presence in this world, because she's been mentioned specifically as a deity in this universe as well. I had the whole MyStreet multiverse theory going on at this point, blah blah blah. But yeah, I think this one. And yes, Derek is acting like Sylvana. Oh, blah blah blah. No, is dating you, or no one is dating you. Yes, that is. Well, it's interesting. The more that parents act like Sylvana, the more despicable they become. But Derek actually goes a step further. Actually, he takes that. I think what separates Derek from Sylvana, it's not the motivation really. But the actions that he takes. Because if anything, Derek's motivation is actually, oh yeah, you could actually hurt or potentially kill someone. You're not in control of your emotions because you're a hormonal teenager, or blah, blah, blah. Sylvana's motivation is boys bad. All boys are the same. Stay away from half of the entire population of the school. I don't know. But yeah, with Derek, the reason that he's worse is because of the way that he actually acts. If anything, Aiden says that Falcon University has no point to it. I would argue that one of the biggest points is actually showing how much Derek just abused his position, which we'll get to later. The difference is Derek is a guy and Sylvana is a lady. Yeah, I suppose physically that's like me saying the difference is Derek is a werewolf and Sylvana is a human. Great. They're both awful, so it doesn't matter.
And now here you are, trying to leave to go to this girl's house. What have I told you? You are an Ultima! You cannot have these kinds of relationships!
Yes, I can! You...
Oh, okay. I think this is maybe the first time we see the ultimate eyes. Because we didn't see them in the last episode. We never actually got clarification from Ian that that's how people were turned into werewolves. A part that was strangely left out of the story. Like you would think, wouldn't you? But no, I guess not. And yeah, last episode was indeed about drama and suspense. This is all the emotions. In common, they're both supposed to keep us anxiety. I mean, I suppose. I mean, yeah, that's true. I do remember feeling a lot of anxiety at the time of release. Definitely. And I mean quit being a pushover. No, don't say that, Josh. Derek, be a pushover. Get pushed over this once so we can go see Aphmau. I'll just remind you if Teen Wolf does it. Actually, you might be onto something there. I personally have never seen Teen Wolf, the movie or the show. I think Aphmau actually was a big fan of the show, and that's why a lot of the stuff happens particularly in Phoenix Drop High, surrounding werewolves, because she was such a big fan of that. That's been on my bucket list to watch for a long time now, since about 2016. So, yeah, I guess I need to figure that out. Again, thanks to Moon Tea all that time ago for actually convey that to me. Which, by the way, actually, if you want to see a proper emotional response of somebody like at the time of that release, then after this stream, go check out Moon Tea, because I'm pretty sure that that her reaction was quite something. Also, has been watching that. What, Moon Tea or Teen Wolf? Probably Teen Wolf, I imagine.
Never trust me!
And for good reason! Look at your eyes, Aaron!
Look at your eyes. Yeah, wait, look at my eyes. What about my eyes? Oh, that's right. Thank you for telling me.
Your emotions are still unstable. You will become a monster if you can't control them. What's going to happen if you can't control yourself and end up turning her? That's
Well, I'll tell you what happens. You end up stabbed through the heart and fall off a cliff.
the last thing this family needs. Oh, I can see the headline now.
And, also a girl will be dead. See, if Derek had actually taken it instead of like, oh yeah, it's all about the family and stuff, he'd actually taken it in the sense of, you care about this girl, right? We'll stay away from her for her own safety because you're not able to control yourself like this. Then we could have seen something. Although, of course, he actually, on the flip side, he in turn incites these emotions in Aaron much more so than anyone else ever could. In fact, in Phoenix Drop High Season 1, he was perfectly able to control himself around basically everyone, including Balto and Gene. Two people that actually properly hurt either him or Aphmau several times. So yeah, if anything, again, this is why another reason why Derek is so misguided, needs to listen, but also changing up his tactic would have proven even more efficient. TLDR, all the parents in MyStreet are idiots, except for Terry.
Son of major corporation owner turns student into a werewolf. Ultimas exist. Humans fear werewolves again.
Also, yeah, I guess, like and family on the run.
Do you understand how much is at stake, Aaron?
You never treat Melissa like this.
Ooh, it's like I have to have this conversation with you every year. Your sister cannot turn people into werewolves, Aaron. You can.
And this is never explained. We're going to have a whole genetics argument in the chat again, aren't we? I can see that now. The mere mention of Melissa was going to do that. Anyway, there's stacks of paper on the floor. You're littering. Is that like a retort to Aaron? Aaron, how can I trust you? There's stacks of paper on the floor. You're littering. How can you go to some girl's house right now? You have stuff to clean up. Anyway.
It's not fair.
Life isn't fair, Aaron. You don't think I went through the same thing? I kept my distance from everyone when I was your age. Even with your mother. I continued to do that till this day. I knew.
You continue to do that to this day. And yet, supposedly, the curse has been passed on. if you were to continue to do it to this day, you wouldn't need to for everyone's safety. So your entire reasoning is, like, again, it's not just because, oh yeah, I'm a solitary person. No, he's mentioning as if, oh, you should follow my example because of otherwise it would happen to me as well. So clearly the curse. Oh my word. I just got it. I just got something. Okay. So Aiden showed me, like, for his evidence of it being a curse and nothing but a curse that, gets passed down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He showed me the scene where Derek is actually being held captive by Michael, and Michael says, "Oh yes, don't you think I know that the curse was passed down?" As if to say, "Oh yeah, you're not an Ultima ever anymore." But here, Derek is saying that he still might have had the same issue. Also, his ears and tail would still be the same anyway. So the Ultima, like, clearly there's Ultima traits that are still inherited. So if anything, it can't be a curse. But how would both of these make sense? The reason for that is because when he says the curse is being passed down and he wants Aaron, it's not because he has no other option. It's because not being able to be the sacrifice, not being able to sacrifice himself for his family, is the way that Michael uses to make Derek suffer. It's not because he has to go after Aaron, it's because he wants to. I've done it. I fixed the plot hole. I fixed it. People call it a curse, but curse is a relative term. It's not a magic curse. It can still be inherited through genetics. It's just, when people say, "Oh yeah, no, my gift is my gift and my curse" or anything, they don't mean it figuratively. No, I mean they do mean it figuratively. They don't mean it literally, and that was the point the whole time. There we go. How have I lost you, Maya? So when Michael says, my point was when Michael said, "Oh yeah, the curse got passed down," implying that Derek couldn't transform anymore, but Derek over here is saying that he could if he doesn't keep his distance anymore. So clearly, but Derek knows that it still will be possible for him. And I think Michael does as well, but he wants to make Derek suffer because, again, it's all about surrendering of emotion and everything, and also making Derek pay for his past tribulations and everything. Taking that out on Aaron doesn't make any sense unless he wants to impact somebody. Remember what Michael's tactics are like. He targeted the Lycans in When Angels Fall because he knew that was how to get to Aaron. He made sure to broadcast like this, what happened to Rachel, which I still think was actually falsified. But that's beside the point. He made sure to broadcast that, and so that Aaron could actually see it. Again, breaking down all of those barriers, taking away the things that he cares about, which Ian proves in this season is the way to actually trigger the Ultima to come out in the first place. I mean, yes, sure, he could do the same thing to Derek, but again, his tactic basically is to target loved ones of people, not the people themselves. You could even argue he does the same thing with Irene, in fact. Irene is his prime target, but the way that he gets back at her is by, again, destroying the fabric of the people that she actually chose to save and bring back. So it makes perfect sense now, actually. It's just another one of those red herrings that Aphmau never actually got round to explaining. I mean, granted, I don't think she was ever going to go into genetics or anything like that. Like dominant or recessive traits. Homozygous, heterozygous, or otherwise. That's not really her style. Leave that to those of us that's talking about the mutation theory, for example. But yeah, I think that was it. It's just, again, never got round to it. Can I make my theory in a separate video so people will see it? I mean, yes, honestly, because I think Aiden in particular should definitely see a more constructed version of what I just said. So yeah, I think I will do that actually. I'm pretty confident now. So again, I'm still on the side of it being an inherited genetic trait through alleles and not a magical curse that skips for some reason. Although, of course, the big solution in both cases to prevent the Ultima curse would be not to have biological children. But none of them seem to have done that. So, Derek, how much could you control yourself around Aaron's mother? That's the real question here. Anyway, MD says, read my comment up. Let me just... oh, here we go. So, Derek, you want your daughter, Melissa Devilish, future, but not Aaron? Are you calling him ugly? No girl would likes him. That's a whole other ballpark right there. I don't think he's going to get into that. That's also playing the Ultima stuff. I literally talked about the Ultima stuff. The Ultima stuff is the inherited genetic traits. This leaves plot holes in genetics. What plot holes are there now, other than the one I just debunked? What other plot holes are there in terms of genetics? I'll let you answer that, but I'm going to carry on just so we're not stuck on this one image of Derek forever.
What could have happened to me and all werewolf people if I lost control? I don't want this for you, but you have to understand the situation you are in.
But...
Go upstairs, Aaron, and don't come down until your eyes change.
Interesting. As soon as his eyes change, Derek's attitude changes as well. Yeah. Wait. Why doesn't he disagree with the idea that it's gender specific, the gender one? Because we don't have evidence that all of the Ultimas were male. Yes, it is true that the last three were male. But remember, werewolves have existed since the times of Minecraft Diaries, which basically is saying, 900 years ago. Medieval times, So, more like, nearly 1,000 at this point. So that means that the entire Ultima bloodline has had all of this time to realize this. And so again, it's very improbable, basically, that all of them would have been male, and no one would have actually mentioned this ever. So that's why I don't believe it's gender specific, just because, again, we have not had confirmation that is the case, that over all of this time, because there's no real reason why we can't have a female Ultima. And it's not, and also, even if it was gender specific, I'm pretty sure that Derek could have said, right here when he says, "Oh, Melissa can't turn people to werewolves," which is so improbable that it can't be simply coincidental. If it was that coincidental, I'm pretty sure we'd have a situation like in ancient Sparta where you get a male baby. In this case, a male baby would have been a deformed baby in ancient Sparta, but just oh, look at that, another male descendant from the pack. Okay, yeet off a cliff. At some point in the past, that would have happened. I feel like, again, it's something that I'm not gonna use 3 members of a family that has lasted for thousands of years as evidence. I feel like if you did that in a paper or something and said, well, the last 3 were all male, so therefore everyone in the past has had to have been male as well. I'm pretty sure you'd get a great big F on that paper. Just saying. So again, I might be the proclaimed crackpot theorist, but even I have standards. That's the point. And yes, it is sad, but honestly, I saw that in a video by Wismichu, and he actually acts the whole thing out. So that was an interesting one. Anyway,
and I'd better.
Repeating the same thing over and over again, Maya. Like I said, I'm not going to use. Okay, fine, not 3, but 4 in that case. The 4 known Ultima are male. Again, almost 1,000 years. It's never been specifically mentioned. I'm not going to use 4 members of a family just to think about, oh yeah, this can't possibly happen. And besides, honestly, like, stepping outside of the confines of the universe for a second, imagine if Aphmau and Aaron were to stay together, and there was like some plans for a sequel where like a version of Alina is born to the pair of them, because given what we know about the rules of corporeal fragments, they clearly just eventually end up generating themselves in the exact same order when they procreate. So if we step outside of that and think about it, it would be pretty dramatic if Alina actually starts showing signs of being an Ultima. So not only would you have like the whole babies with Aaron thing, which by the way would be an amazing thing for a series. Like babies with Aaron was a whole concept all back in the minigame days. So it wouldn't make sense outside of universe either for dramatic purposes to exclude any female descendants of the Ultima bloodline from the Ultima curse. But yeah, in universe, I don't think it makes sense either. Again, until they verbally clarify this is not how this works, I'm not going to make that conclusion. Because again, it's 4 people over hundreds of years of this family line. That seems like a pretty small sample. Anyway.
Not hear any more of this Aphmau girl. You're better off being alone.
I don't want to be alone.
Relatable. You and me both, buddy. You go ahead and get up and save your true love. I guess Garth just got let go. I guess Ian had no reason for him. Seems weird that he let a loose end off like that, but fair enough. Especially a worthless human. Like at least he'd be off the cliff too, if anything. Anyway, let's see. Alina could get it because in MCD she got Shad's relic. This could potentially happen with MyStreet Alina. Well, we know for a fact that the relics that the characters held in the past don't actually translate over, except for weirdly enough Gareth, because I'm pretty sure Gareth was holding like some sort of relic to transform into his Jury of 9 form, and clearly he was able to do that in episode 3. And yes, I'm bringing up season 1, episode 3 again. What was that? In fact, couldn't Gareth like go Jury of 9 right now and end this all? Anyway, yeah, I don't think the ultimate thing has anything to do with relics, because again, if it was a whole thing with that, I guess the only person that, something, maybe there is a way that a relic could actually make somebody's DNA to do with werewolves, because that would actually explain Leona's conception from Minecraft Diaries. I think that might be another theory to work on, the truth about Leona. So who knows? It's like, okay, but Zane was also a crackhead that was flying on a pony at different points. I know, it's one of my favorite episodes, but remember this, that we can't dismiss that fact, because without the episode where Zane flies around on a reanimated version of Pinky Cake from My Little Horsies, stealing presents, we would not have Zane and Aphmau become best friends, and he would not be part of the main cast as he is today. So that has to stay. We must acknowledge the bizarre origins of MyStreet. We can't ignore it. As much as people want to, that can't happen. Also, I do have an entire video about Pinky Cake and where that whole thing actually came from. That makes sense within, what we learned later. Anyway. Yeah. Or just relics overall. I mean, I don't know, what kind of, I guess you could say that Pinky Cake was like a relic holder to, I don't know. No, that's not what I meant. Yeah. It's basically like universes are in balance in some way in what happens in each one. Well, that's the thing. This one is not a different universe, as we find out later. So yeah, a little bit of a different rule there for this one in particular versus, everything else out there within, the void and stuff. I don't think Jess told Andy that he was supposed to stop and like catch his breath. Just kept on carrying on like that in the booth.
This can't be happening. Is Aaron really? He's dead? I need to get back to the lodge. Kim could be able.
Oh, yeah, true. Kim just like didn't show up for any of this. Wow. What does she think has been going on this whole time? She's been chilling. Hold on. What if Irene and Enki had a kid that tries to the descent of Irene? Yeah. Well, here's a theory. What if there were female Ultimas? Which one sounds more plausible? Is this the... No.
Huh?
Oh, do they say... Okay, I guess you didn't get anyone to record
Me?
those lines. I'd have been like, oh, you should have hired me, but I wasn't, doing voice acting auditions at this point. I wasn't in the business.
Excuse me, sir.
Travis is the descendant of the relationship between Irene and... That would explain the powerfulness of the Demon Warlock as well. Alternatively, the powerfulness of the Demon Warlock, actually, because I'm pretty sure the Enki... No, actually, no. The Enki line was not where the Demon Warlock came from. It was where Travis's mother came from, actually, instead. And no, Josh, my voice chain is linked to my other microphone. I don't think it can actually work in this case. Like, if I press the button now... I don't think... Oh, wait a minute. I think it did change. Huh. I didn't think that was possible because it's not like linked up directly to the audio interface. Anyway, yeah, back to this. Basically that was the difference. But also, even then, the powerful Demon Warlock can be explained by the fact that he's, literally a demon and a warlock. There's a whole category. He's now called the Demon Warlock. That's very rare to happen. I mean, if Gut just taught me anything, is that hybrids are not to be messed with. And also, I guess, Dragon Ball, same way.
Wouldn't do that if I were you.
Huh?
Strict orders from your father. I'm here to keep you from getting close to anyone.
I love how there's no way this is legal. There is no way. Derek is a corrupt businessman.
What?
Your father's ordered increased security around campus to make sure everything's safe.
Again, Derek's actions separate him from Sylvana.
You mean to keep me from having a life? He doesn't want me to have any friends.
I found this scene no weird for the voice acting and those background characters. Yeah. And Josh, about knowing background character and like in type of voice. I think you're thinking of the Shorty and Polar style of roleplay, which yes does not rely on that, but it actually becomes pretty distracting when every character has been given a voice up to this point, and then suddenly you find out one character that just doesn't for some reason. I remember watching a gacha, in fact, where I think I was actually up for the role of a teacher. Big surprise. I keep landing teacher roles. I should actually tell Moni that. She's not the only one who's been typecast weirdly. But yeah, basically, so I was up for the role of a teacher, but eventually the person said, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to have this part be voiced." Then eventually I watched the episode in question, and it turns out that every character was voiced except for the teacher. Like, what kind of bizarre thing is that? Like, that's the thing. Teachers are very underrepresented in gacha. I'm glad that Mrs. Dysart turned out the way that she did. She wasn't, because, again, teachers are either crazy or they just don't get any focus. There was no in between with gacha. So, I'm glad. Anyway, and yeah, the mentality probably was because it was unimportant, but still, I'm pretty sure that the usual thing that Athmel does, and by extension, the normal thing that I would do in this situation was just, get somebody to voice that character once and then be done with it, because I think a lot of people have done bit roles in the past, like Morgan Berry, for example, has done bit parts, Ross, Kamiwasa, Trying to remember. Bin of trash. Yeah, depends.
Your words, not mine.
Are you kidding me?
Afraid not. And after that little stunt you pulled last time, he's not taking any chances.
I just visited. Do I have to tell him everything?
You should ask
Not really, he already knows.
Kim. We're not sure how you gave us the slip before. Now we have to make sure we know where you are at all times, even who you talk with.
Please, leave me alone.
That's not up to me. You should go back to your dorm.
It doesn't have to be like that. Not anymore.
I mean, it hasn't been for a long time, Aaron. Oh, we're getting some sun. Don't worry, I remember what you did in the forest, Aaron. I will help you for what you did in the forest. Good lord. Okay. Also, yeah, Emily says, hey, Af, you want to be a part of this movie I'm making? You're perfect for the role. Oh, really? I'm excited. What's the name of the movie? Aaron the Potato. Oh, sorry. The Potato. Okay, yeah. That'd be interesting. Then again, I'm pretty sure that if nowadays, well, as you know, not nowadays, back then, if Aaron had said, "Hey, Af, do you want to make a movie with me?" Like point a camera at her, she'd like start blushing and say like, "Oh, well, what kind of movie is it?" And then Aaron would be like, "Oh, well, what? There's not like anything weird," and then make a whole like dirty joke out of it because that's what Atmar used to do. She had that adult edge occasionally. Now that is long gone. It'll probably be back eventually, though. I mean, Skydo's Minecraft had the exact same thing happen to him, where he thought, "Oh yeah, appeal to the kids more so," but eventually it just wasn't fulfilling for him anymore. Anyway, you should do a Buttercore podcast stream just talking about your shows. I think we used to do like a Gacha Tubers talk about blah blah blah. So maybe actually. I mean, it depends. I feel like we talk a lot about the shows anyway. I don't know what else there'd be like to add other than that. But I guess if we open up to Q&As and stuff, maybe we can discuss that. Yeah, probably. Maybe I can even put like some cards or something, so I don't see people's faces, but we see like the cards, like what show we're discussing at that particular moment. Maybe give us some more structure.
It's you.
It's you. You're all grown up from a few days ago.
Don't cry. I'll be fine.
I like that he knows it's crying, though. Again, best dog dad ever.
Just need to pull myself together. Huh?
Deny thy father and refuse. I was never great at acting. Why did Caitlin decide to cast me as Juliet?
More importantly, why does she keep the script again? It's meant to be modernized, but yet that's exactly the line from Shakespeare. Every time. Caitlin, stop using the scripts if you want to change them. It doesn't count. Anyway. I do like this callback to, again, my season 1 actually does matter. Here you go. Hashtag Aaron is the best dog dad ever. Yeah, indeed. He made the shirts and everything. Which honestly should have been merch.
Didn't you both take theater in high school? She just trusts you.
More like she's just using me to get guys to audition for this play.
Yes.
I'm sure it's not like that.
She literally said that it was like that. No, really, she actually did say it.
Okay, I'm like 70% sure.
I'm 0% sure.
You know, you don't need to audition for the part of Romeo. I appreciate you wanting to help, but don't you think it'll be weird?
Weird? Why?
Well,
because it involves a kiss, which is like the first thing that Aphmau said when Aaron was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do this role." It's like, that part involves a kiss, right? Like that's the only thing that Romeo does. Even though it's like literally like the last scene. Then again, actually, I was recently in a scene of Romeo and Juliet. I wasn't Romeo, I was Lord Capulet. But in that scene, the guy that was playing Romeo and the girl who was playing Juliet actually did kiss a couple of times. It wasn't the death scene. It was like when they met. It was like a whole thing, which actually, when I was reading like that romantic interaction, I kind of started like having like an internal panic because it sounded like the kind of flirting that I do with Monet. Like, no joke. It was like at the time, particularly like the wordplay and stuff, it was so obvious. Like, again, I wrote my own future with the music girl doing like, Morwen and Malwick like having that kind of conversation, which I thought was impossible in real life. And it turned out I'm just as guilty as was clearly Romeo and Juliet, my least favorite Shakespeare play. It all came together, and I hate it. Anyway. Yeah, people might assume isn't a bunch of filler episodes like Aiden said. Yeah, exactly. And even the filler episodes even the ones that actually are filler, they're still fun. They're still entertaining. They're still enjoyable. We still learn about the characters, and they're all still good to watch. Except episode 28. We didn't talk about that one. Well, I do graphic design as an education. Wait, I can make it an actual show. Oh, okay. Well, go back to season 2 then and see if you can emulate the design then. And yes, I'm being my own worst nightmare. Also, I know. Hold on. Aphmau, you kissed him before. Why are you so scared? It's been years. That was a long time ago. Bah.
Because we have to kiss.
I mean, I wasn't thinking about that.
Good, because the part involves more than just that. I sound like Caitlin herself, actually. My favorite Shakespeare is Macbeth so far. I just got done reading it. Yeah, for me, it's actually a draw between Macbeth and Twelfth Night, and then Midsummer Night's Dream is like close second.
Been a long time since
/3rd.
But plus, that means you have to take off the bandana around your.
Yep. He's like, oh yeah, I'll just do that. In the episode, he just goes, oh yeah, sure, I'll just remove it, whatever.
Aaron?
Yeah?
I just realized it, but that's the bandana I gave you in high school.
Honestly, I didn't realize it at first until now. So, well, not until now, until 5 years ago when I watched this. That was a cool detail, actually. This is the kind of stuff where it's like you don't draw attention to it until later, but you do still expose it. Again, a little bit of inspiration for when I did my own kind of twist. That voice you did, kind of Green Goblin in Spider-Man. The heart, Osborn. First, we attack the heart. Anyway.
Isn't
I mean, it was nice material, and it lasted really long, so...
Why do you still wear that bandana over your face? You've been doing it since college.
Because it's a solution that I thought of at college. I wish I thought of before. But yeah. She gave him a bandana because he cut himself. That was what happened. Just like a piece of cloth that was there.
I mean...
Oh, I think she actually had it in her head before as part of her Phoenix Drop High Season 1 outfit.
It must be hard.
Like the weekend one with the Steven Universe. Not the Steven... No, that was the Bajan one, not the Steven Universe one. The one from Outdoors.
Hard to see out of it. Plus, don't you think it's a bit odd? I mean, I'm used to seeing you in it, but...
As is literally everyone else, but, I love that. He's shy, Aphmau, for not seeing you for many years. I mean, they've still... the time they didn't see each other in years was actually in college. They kept in touch after that, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, yeah, I knew that, but I wasn't sure why he got... Yeah, okay. no other teacher in the musical could be good as Mrs. Dysart was. Honestly, I'm quietly afraid that you're correct. Like none of them get as much emphasis because I finally took the chance to not have Mrs. Dysart just be the only teacher, because again, you'd have more classes than just English all the time if you actually allowed more character slots, which I can do now. So yeah, none of the teachers get as much focus as she did. But yeah. What about Mr. Grayson? Mr. Grayson didn't, we never saw him teach anything. I don't know what you're on about there.
I'm sorry.
I think the only other teacher we saw actually teach was Coach Poole. We saw the start of Mr. Proctor's lesson, but not really anything further.
It's not a problem. It was an honest question. So
No, I was just teasing you about it. But I thought about you.
Huh?
I'm sorry for what happened between us in high school. I know that at that point, we were thinking about being more than just friends. But we were so far apart. It was hard. And all the stupid stuff that happened. After everything we've been through, you're still here for me.
Of course I am.
I'll always be here for you.
You were my first friend.
Ah, dang it! I was going to say it there. Anyway.
I was never going to abandon you. You make me happy in more ways than you know.
Yeah, I agree. This scene is amazing.
I miss seeing your eyes, Aaron.
Why?
They were beautiful. It hurts that you hide them.
I don't think you'd want to see them. I can't control. I mean,
See, that's the thing. Derek's method, again, it doesn't work. Like, suppressing at this point until adulthood doesn't give you anything. So basically, also again, they lost contact for a while. After college, they kept in touch. Anyway, what was I saying? No, I forgot. Oh yeah. Yeah, the method of suppressing doesn't work until adulthood. In fact, again, it kind of reminds me actually of the whole thing about of the Obscurials in Fantastic Beasts, which actually Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them would have been a recent film at the time, like only a year old. So who knows? Maybe the whole idea of like keeping all this power to yourself and only for it to be able to be inevitably released at some point was actually on Akmal's mind. I don't know. Teachers are important to me. As I got into creative writing because of English class, I do believe teachers get more attention in media. They're important in some of our lives. Honestly, I wanted to do a show one time that was all about teachers, like in Gotcha, just because again they were like the people that always just get like glossed over, more so than parents. I mean, I gloss over parents in Gotcha, not for any particular reason other than again time, but yeah, that's one thing that when I started the musical, I was like, I need to actually give some emphasis. Like we don't need to know like her family life, her backstory, whatever. But what we needed from Mrs. Dysart was some form of personality, and thanks to Natasha, we got that. Like I provided the whole the actual lessons and stuff, but the dynamic and eccentricity, that was mostly her. So yeah. I got bullied by the teacher and students in school one time. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm not saying that all teachers are saints, far from it. But again, most of them are out there trying to do good in the world and usually get something that get very underappreciated for doing so. Yeah, who knows? I mean, considering that nowadays I'm dating a teacher, maybe I should actually think about restarting that. Just like collecting a bunch of anecdotes from Monet's perspective and see what kind of teacher character that can be formed from them. Yeah, I think that could work. Who knows? I mean, again, I've got like a billion shows already. But yeah, I love writing for teachers particularly. I think actually recently, I think, well, the teacher that I love writing for the most, now that Mrs. Dysart's pretty much concluded her lessons, is Takahashi Sensei from Alpha Witch Academy. In episode 3, there's a lot more from her actually, like her actual teaching structure and everything. She's much more of like the outdoor type of teacher because of what she teaches. She has the combat and energy control aspect of things. As a Dragon Ball fan, I can latch on to that. She very much is a sensei in all senses of the word. So there you go. I meant future, and he abandoned her ultimately, but still. Oh, you mean like seasons? Okay, fine. I cried when my 6th grade teacher raised her voice even slightly because she's like the monitor teacher. He yells at the students at lunch to behave and like scared me in 2nd grade. I never got over it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I think sometimes every now and then everyone like thinks about like the way that their teachers like shouted down at them or something. Because essentially, like when we're younger, like we just have like these giant humans just coming down at us, reminding us of how lesser we are to them at some points. But then eventually, if you're like me, you shoot up to 6'2" and suddenly you're like, oh, I was scared of you at one point. Anyway.
Gotten used to this.
I won't make you. But looking into your eyes made me happy.
Me when I tell Monet to turn face cam on.
How do they look?
Levi drink worthy, my
They
friend.
look just like the Aaron I know.
Good.
I think it's my favorite scene of the
I never feel
season.
alone when I look into your
Well,
eyes.
so far.
You should never feel alone.
Will you always be here
You should never be alone. That's the title. But close, Aaron. You were close.
for me?
Always. I won't give up!
And there we go. The first piece of animation. I
I
completely
am
forgot
going
about
to
that.
get you back, Afbao.
You might want to focus. Yeah. Oh, he's doing. Okay, he's doing the eye thing. Fine. Another cool detail, actually, is that they make sure to actually do a different texture. It's still a red bandana, but it needs to be there's the different to the old one because they just emphasized what difference it was. Again, there's so much of that. I can't do it with being bullied in school. That's why I'm homeschooling. Again, I'm sorry to hear that was a situation that you were in. Hopefully, at some point, if the time is right and you decide to, you'll be allowed to return. Because why not? I'm sure that your friends miss you and everything. Also, love the teacher. She even stood up to my little sister for me when my little sister would be mean to me in school. Well, teachers can be amazing sometimes.
What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Aaron's dead.
Sure, you'll just open your wound, strain your body, and then bleed out. Lovely. Again, I think we've established by now that Aaron has 0 survival skills.
My Lucinda is saying I'm mind controlled. I need to go back. I need to. Aaron?
I'm alive.
Why are you wearing that over your face? Are your eyes okay?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. But Aaron, you have several gashes and blood is trickling from all of your orifices. I'm okay, Gareth.
Lucinda, say.
I love that. Aaron finds 1 emerald. It happens to be the one that he needs. Ian, several emeralds, forces werewolves to dig for them, and then can't get more than 2. Love it.
Afbao, Ian has them. We need to go back.
We will. And Ian is mine.
no words for that. Was just incredible. That's what I was saying to me. So yeah, again, that was You Should Never Be Alone. Whew, that was a ride. OMG, next episode. Yeah, it does get you hyped for it, doesn't it? Yeah, of course. Alas, I am bound by the schedule, so I'm not going to skip ahead for now. So yeah. That was, hold on. Was that intentional that Abraxas' arm was based off Michael's army because of the mind controlling? You'll have to ask Aiden about that one. I don't think it was really. No, the only person that Abraxas had to mind control was Diogenes, because Diogenes would never in a million years be swayed over to his side. Everyone else he convinced, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he had anyone else under his particular. Like, they were all like indoctrinated, like, you know, like Silver, for example. But yeah. Anyway, there's fan art of Aaron bursting through the door, and I love it. It takes a serious approach to the scene. Yes, and I'm, you know, but I'd be remiss to point out that it's Aaron breaking through a door, and guards on the other side. But yeah, other than that, I will say nothing else about that particular part. Oh my word. So yeah. Oh, and we've now got Diogenes like Zach in the chat there. That's got nothing to do with what I said about Diogenes just then. Why did you bring up Zach? He wasn't even. Okay, fine. Anyway, this was a great episode. Definitely more emotional than the last one. And it definitely still gets you hyped up. Like, you could argue that as far as furthering something over, it once again, not too much actually happens. But again, that wasn't the point of the episode. It was all about Aaron and his past, and actually finally filling in the blanks of what growing up for him was actually like. Even bringing in bits of season 1, just all the things that, you know, formed the reason that he would, you know, want to get up. And fitting enough, most of them revolved around Aphmau in the end. So yeah, very, very important to do. I feel like MyStreet is one of the only shows that could pull off that kind of thing for their second main character, because obviously the main character is the one that you have to give all of the give that emphasis to and that kind of journey. But even then, it was all centered around them. I guess maybe you could argue like long-running anime do this sometimes a lot too, because they have plenty of episodes to burn. Emerald's Secret had 17. So yeah, which reminds me, we're only 3 episodes from the finale of this. So yeah, that's lies. Aaron is main character. I don't think Aaron should ever end up being the main character, just because, again, the series, like, the central focus of everything and like the whole friendship group is Aphmau. Aaron's journey is compelling, to say the least, and in anime you do get a lot of stuff about the secondary protagonist, whether it's whether that be a love interest, a best friend, a rival / best friend, blah blah blah. And I know I missed your comment, MD. I can't, like, I already made a Gareth Door joke, so there's no point in me reading out the other one. But yeah, I don't know. So I've zoned out now because of the whole But of course, the point that the central point is always around that first character's journey. I guess another good example would be another show that I know that Aphmau's watched, Avatar. That series, of course, like, gives a lot of backstory to all of its characters. That has emphasis, like episodes, sometimes dedicated to characters, you know, just being alone, just called stuff like Zuko alone, etc. The difference there, of course, is that Avatar has 60 episodes to deal with, which is double most MyStreet seasons. So they can do quite a lot in there. But of course, you know, no matter how much backstory we give to Zuko, Aang still brings us back in as far as the driving force of the story goes. And that's what's important to distinguish there. the reason I say MyStreet's one of the other episodes, the way series that can do that kind of thing is because just the way they end up doing they're doing this kind of thing in its structure. They got away with something that they shouldn't have got away with. But yeah, I guess Jason, much like Aaron, became the saving force towards the end. Not to discredit Jess's writing, clearly there was a bit of a clash during the early parts of this season. But actually, another thing they got away with actually is not having too much of the plot actually further. Because all this time, Aaron was either lying down in the snow, maybe dead up in the snow. They also didn't care about you murdering their bro, or he would or you'd be like in a dimensional plane or flashback. Like the main meat of the episode was his past while he was contemplating how he was going to sit up and stand up and walk. Like that on its own, you would think, oh yeah, you got to be really smart to pull that kind of thing off, and they pulled it off. So yeah, compared to the early episodes of this season, where not a lot happens, not a lot gets furthered, and the characters being dumb all the time, it's different. The only character being dumb in the situation was Derek, but that's the point. It was intentional this time, and that's the difference. All right, let's read the chat. When this first aired, I was on the edge of actually crying because of the depressive nature of the episode. I sometimes come back here to almost have the same experience, just like now. So you sometimes come back to get yourself depressed again? Like, I'm too happy right now. Let me just have a good old cry for a bit. To each their own, I suppose. I think Emerald Secret, I didn't come back to Emerald Secret after it first aired. Not because I didn't enjoy it. Hold on. I take that back. I actually did come back to a couple episodes, like the Aaron versus Ian one, because I needed that one for a music video. And obviously, occasionally I'll nab a couple of clips from there. Unlike Aiden, I don't tend to get most of my clips from that one, from the few cutscenes that this season has. But yeah, what else was I saying? Yeah, so I didn't come back to this one because this isn't the kind of season that I tend to particularly like rewatching, especially like the whole mystery thing. Once you know what it is, there's no reason to really go back that far. So yeah, I tend to like to rewatch the earlier seasons and the later seasons, but not so much this one. Or When Angels Fall, weirdly enough. I've only ever watched that one reviewing it. Maybe I should just watch it casually one day. Honestly, I should have done that a long time ago. But yeah, with this one, that's the reason. So I don't know. Even Endeavor had a whole arc about him. Okay, if we're talking about My Hero Academia, that one has sometimes upwards of 30 or 40 episodes per season. That one is just like a behemoth that just keeps on growing. So, of course, that one can get away with giving everyone, all 20 students in class 1A, their own bits and pieces to actually chew on, sometimes entire episode dedicated to them, because you have the time. That's the difference between that and this and MyStreet. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, we've got this points. Aaron, Zuko, Aang, but what it was? Oh, sorry, not May. Keep forgetting about. Yeah. What about May? I mean, yes, we see her family and Tom and all those, but we don't get that much backstory from her. Oh wait, of course, so many good ships. That again, it's not about the emotional gender thing. It's who's giving who a big old smooch. Anyway, I have an actual question. If I were to make a fanfic of this series, would you like to suggest something? I want to make something based on the compliment you gave me the other day. Well, go ahead and do so. I forget which compliment that actually was, in fact. So, but by all means, write the fanfic and send it to me when you're done, of course. Anyway, I can even read it on stream if you want at some point. May and Ty Lee, though. I don't think that's how you spell Ty Lee, but okay. All right. I also wanted to do it for a long time, actually. Yeah, honestly, I started doing a Aphmau fanfic a long time ago. But it was like, it was going to be like an Iron and Coal and MyStreet fusion, where because I wanted like the characters in MyStreet to actually see what they'd be like in the world of Pokemon. But unfortunately, I ended up not finishing that one, and my Wattpad account I now can never access again, pretty much. So yeah. That was that yeah, so that's gonna end up, permanently shelved, I'm afraid. But yeah, no ideas. I see. If you need ideas for Emerald Secret fan fictions, I don't know. Maybe delve into Michi's perspective. We were asking about that before. We don't really quite know what Michi's up to at this point. Like what, other than causing mischief. Like, how does she actually end up in that village, with Leoshant and all those people? Like, is it actually, as I suspected, on the border of Tula, and that's why the characters we know from Tula gravitate towards there after they've been, ostracized from everywhere else? Or is was that speculation? Like, what has she been keeping her jobs? Was she like Trish from Austin and Alley, constantly getting fired all the time? There's a lot to think about there from Michi, I guess. So if you do need a fanfic idea, I go with the Michi route. What about Gareth, maybe? I have a video idea. Gareth invited everyone to his house, and Gareth showed a door, and Aphmau said, "You invited everyone just to show us a door?" And Gareth said, "Oh, this isn't just a door I bought. This is for $1. What? Oh. The cheapest door I've ever got." And he breaks it. Oh. Right, okay. That's like a YouTube short, if anything. I think that I read things that make me cry simply because that's my mood. Okay, fine. If you're already in the mood, but I feel like if you're like happy, that's what I was saying before. If you're like happy, then there's no reason to depress yourself out of nowhere. I should make a Gacha series about werewolves. Well, funny you should mention that. If you would like to peruse my channel for a bit and go to a video called Puppy Love, that was the first in a 8-episode show that was supposed to actually continue, and I've written all the episodes of, but we've had lots of problems behind the scenes actually getting all the edits and everything involved, and the other person actually motivated to carry it on because it was a collab between myself and Mimi. But the first episode is actually on there. So if you want to know what a show about werewolves looks like, go ahead and check it out. Anyway, you make a good fanfic writer because I said I hated Green Eyes because it isn't her in the last stream. Oh, right. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, that's true, because I said something like because it was all about like, oh yeah, I love it when people are the people. I love these characters, especially when they're not the characters. yeah, okay. All right. Now we have what if Ian or Michael had her twin brother Mikai or something? Oh, you mean like for the fanfic? Yeah, maybe. Oh, and BB actually got here a while ago. Just finished with the recording. Let's go. Oh, you don't usually finish before I finish these streams. But yeah, the stream is just about over. It's just going through the chat after I've done the actual review. And no, Maya, there are not 8 episodes out because there's only, doing music or what ifs on this channel. That would get confusing. I don't want to do what ifs like of my own works. Like obviously I've nothing against doing what ifs in general. In fact, I actually I premiered a what if today. What if Piccolo had a son part 8 over on the Butter Bunch channel. I think people will appreciate that kind of segue I just did. But also when it comes to my own shows, I'm fine to discuss them really, but I have to make sure that if I do a what if, it's in a different format. Like, oh, I don't know, maybe something like just a brief discussion, a couple of still images here or there, or something like that. Not really something that's I'm like, oh yeah, this is I'm going to dedicate my actual gacha production time and effort into making something that just isn't canon. I need to like make it some sort of like low budget, low maintenance kind of thing if I were to do that. But yeah, let's see. My grammar is off. Lol. Actually, what it has been. Yep. I want more puppy love. I want more puppy love. Like I'm really happy with how that show turned out, writing wise. But yeah, we don't know. Also, BB sent a hyperlink. I'm not sure what that's to. Oh, it's a channel, so I'm guessing that's the Butter Bunch. Anyway, do the Disney format. Yeah, Disney's whole what if format is so cool. Yes, again, like I said, it needs to be something that I actually have the time and somewhat budget to do, because Disney's What If, I'm pretty sure, has animation. Hello? Unfortunately, I don't have the vast team or, billion-dollar company that Disney does, so it's not quite the same. Oh, and you got me talking about Marvel again. So, yeah, wonderful. You just realized you went sub to the Butter Bunch. Okay, well, if you're into random elements of gaming, particularly Minecraft, and or Dragon Ball What Ifs, then go ahead and check them out, because that's the kind of style of What If that I tend to do. So let me know. And will I make a Raditz and Nappa Turn Good Part 7? Yes. In fact, I actually just finished writing it a couple of days ago. So yeah, that's the next thing I will be recording, uploading for the Butter Bunch. And then it'll be What If Goku Married Sooner Part 4, then What If GT Train Like Goku Part 2, then it goes back to Piccolo Part 9, Raditz Part 8, etc., etc. It goes like that for now. Yeah. Every series so far has been pretty big, but What If was just a hit or miss for me. Okay, sure. All right then. Watching the Marvel animated kid shows. Oh, hang on a second. Look at that. Please welcome, as a guest to the stream for like, I don't know, like the next 2 minutes or so, the YouTube sensation Monation.
I don't know. I'm gonna go. I feel disrespected. Bye.
Okay, I guess it was 2 seconds rather than 2 minutes. I say that because the stream was literally about to end. Like I just finished catching up with the chat.
Oh. I did just finish all my work. Anyway.
It's like, well, what did you think of the episode?
I think the episode was and that's about it.
It was a good one. It was a good one this week. It was a really good one.
I would never know. But okay.
Right. Take 2, action. So what did you think of the episode?
It was, and that's about all I can say about this show. Thank you everyone for coming in another 5 years later. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit the like button down below. And let's just say once again, farewell.
On that note, until next time, farewell. But all right. I think of making an Aaron's Year fanfic. Actually, I would like to see that. Aaron's Year fanfic sounds good. Especially because we get like Dr. Mom and of course all of the werewolves that we know and love. Lot to think about there. But yeah, one thing that Mono didn't say actually was when the next stream was going to be, because obviously I looked that up earlier on. The next stream actually, the next Emerald Secret episode is on the 27th. So we've got a while to wait. 4 days on my end and 5 on yours.
Double, more like 10, but yeah.
What?
Yeah, I live in limbo.
Sure, we all know that time passes half at half speed in limbo. Sure, okay.
It's very Caribbean.
The Caribbean is now limbo. Let it be known. This was.
I mean, the Grim Reaper is Jamaican, so.
He's talking about Billy and Mandy. Actually, it took me years to realize that, because I watched like a little bit of Billy and Mandy when I was younger before I knew what the Jamaican accent actually was. And then afterwards went to Spain had a little bit of it there, but not too much actually. And then that's obviously in Spanish dubs, you don't get the accents. Then I came back to it a long time later. I was like, wait, he was Jamaican the whole time? It was like, where did that come from? Anyway, hold on. Yeah. Wasn't that what the triangle Bermuda is for? You mean the Bermuda Triangle, the triangle Bermuda? But yes. It's just like Bermuda shorts cut out into a triangle. That's what it is. Anyway, and yes, Aphmau is making us wait, and indeed. But yes, as I was saying, okay, so it's 4 days from now for me, 5 days for you, 10 for all those limbo livers out there.